You're joking, right?
Well, I'm trying to be hopeful. I'm trying to be optimistic about that.
Well, I guess you're too young to be a little pessimistic like me. The fucking things I see out there, people are stupid. Hey, Bronny.
Hi.
What's going on, bud?
I was waiting for you because you usually always come in after you usually come first.
People are stupid.
You usually come in first.
Okay, gotcha.
Not come first.
Whatever. Retard.
I didn't even,
So you're back. We just moved you out of LA.
I'm officially
no longer a resident of
the state of California.
Correct.
Officially.
That's right. We packed you up, got you all ready to go, and your place is vacant, and you got home a couple hours ago.
Yep. As of Friday, I don't have an apartment anymore. And then right now it's Sunday night. I flew back to Florida Sunday afternoon. So I'm done.
And
which is weird.
And how's it make you feel?
I don't know. After this weekend, I feel, I don't know. I don't know how I feel.
Why? What do you mean after this weekend? Was that because of who you met?
Well, like I was with a lot of friends over the weekend, and I was like out at old places that I used to go. So I was supposed to go home with mom and dad on Friday, and I decided to extend my trip for the weekend. And I was like seeing a bunch of old friends that I haven't seen in years, going out at bars that I used to love going out at, right? So it was making me feel like nostalgic. Not that I wasn't thinking like, oh no, I want to, like, I don't think I made the right choice. It just was like the end of a chapter, you know?
So you think it's the right move? You did on Thursday when we spoke.
It's the move I want to do.
Okay.
But you know, like when something is, was like the official end. Cause I was out with my friends at bars that we used to love going to. And I had to sit, like, when I said goodbye to them, I was like saying goodbye to the whole place. And then I got on a plane this morning and left. And
I get it. It's sad. I get it.
Yeah. It's just the end of a big chapter of my life.
And opening up.
And the start of a new one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But the new one hasn't like really started. So that's why I don't know how to feel about it yet. You know, like I ended one, but the next one hasn't quite started. So I feel weird right now.
I get it. I can understand why. And and then you had a really good weekend with your friends and hanging out the past 2 nights. So I could see.
Which makes it then harder because like, I missed this. But also like I hadn't hung out with them in over a year and it was okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, listen, it's part of the different journeys that you'll take throughout your life, and each thing will grow and change and be different paths you take. And again, obviously, selfish reasons. Mom and I are glad you're going to be here, but I get it. I mean, it's even though I knew you were coming home and you've been home for the past year and we've been doing this, it's still even for me. And I was like, all right, now it's really
it's just like this. It really is like the real deal.
Like the car will be here tomorrow. All your stuff is being shipped here. You'll be September 10th. It's the real deal. And I think it's exciting stuff though, what's going on. But I get it. You had a good weekend going out and it's not dead. It's not over.
No, of course the place exists. And I have 10 different apartments that I could stay in whenever I go there with friends.
And
so that's not a big deal.
You've gone many times and you'll go. Just the beauty is you don't have to be part of that shithole state and county.
And that is just part of life, I guess. And like the more, and I know in a couple of days I won't feel this way. And I don't feel right now that I'm regretting my decision at all. It's not that. It's just like a bit sad for the end of that part of my life,
No, I hear you. And I definitely, my opinion, hang with you this past year and you making this, talking about it with you at length over the many, many months, there's no doubt in my mind that you feel you made the right decision. It's just that this week was a little bit tough because it was a fun weekend and it really was.
Well, it was like reminiscing.
It was closure and finality. So I get why it would be, anyone moving out of a place, moved out of an apartment to another place in LA, you might say, oh my God, that's like, that could be a little sad or depressed. Not depressing because that's a strong word.
It's not depressing at all. I'm not, and I'm not even sad. It's not sad. It's just like nostalgic. It's nostalgia.
I get it. Listen, and I think you'd be abnormal if you didn't have any feelings of negativity or like I think a little bit of sadness. I think it's a very normal thing. There's nothing wrong with being sad. I mean, even when they picked up the car, when they were moving, like, even though I want you home, I felt a little bit sad.
Yeah.
Because it's just,
it actually has nothing to do with Los Angeles. Like, even when I was driving to the airport this morning, I wasn't like, I'm sad about leaving this place. It has nothing to do with the geography. It was like, I'm sad to leave the memories that I had here. That's what it is.
That makes perfectly good sense. But
which also is okay because I create new memories here. So,
but you also still have your friends there, so you can still go and do that. It's, so even though you might be leaving certain things behind, you can still see them anytime, and you have opportunities for new memories as well, while maintaining your friendship and your relationships and that you left in California. But California is in of itself. Mom's like, oh, I love it here. I don't get how she likes it. It's ugly. It's dirty.
It is both of those things.
And then aesthetically, unless you're in the really, really, really wealthy areas like Santa Barbara, Laguna, or even parts of Beverly Hills, it's predominantly ugly. It's very crowded. 4 miles takes 38 minutes to drive. Okay. Oops, sorry. And then in addition to that, I know it's gonna sound terrible, is that why do the people annoy me? We go to dinner.
And that never hit me until this week, weirdly enough.
They don't annoy me in here, like Florida. They annoy me no matter how good looking or hot they are, no matter how much you dress. I just find it so toxic and in my face, and maybe it's my own shit why they annoy me. I don't know why, but they're fucking annoying. The people, and then the men, Bronny, there's no men that look like men. They're not men. I don't get it.
It might be something in the water.
No, but the men don't look like men. There's not one guy I've seen that like, I want to back me up in a fight.
Yeah.
They're fucking.
That's just not the culture of that city.
I don't get it.
I never paid attention or even cared about the culture of the people there when I lived there, because maybe I was just part of it. And I was like, this is LA. So I wasn't even, when you're in something, it's hard to see the truth around you.
Yeah.
But then once you're out of it, then you can look back and see it. And this week every time I went out, I was like, oh wow, these people are like annoying. Annoying.
It's almost
not my friends, obviously, for my friends listening. I mean, like, just LA.
Do you think any of it is me tainting you from that? To have that view?
Could be. I think it also could be just me being here. Like me being in Florida and not being around annoying people. Like most people here that I've experienced in the year being here, and I grew up here, so I know it well. A lot of people here are genuine. And even if they're not genuine, they're like, they're straight up when they speak to you. That's a big thing. Like in LA, and that's another thing I even noticed this week, and I didn't really notice when I was there because maybe I changed about it, but there's like definitely an East Coast mentality and a West Coast mentality.
Oh no, there's no doubt.
And
I've known that for years.
On the West Coast, especially like in Los Angeles, people don't really say what they mean to you.
Phony.
They don't speak up for like what they want ever. Like they're very passive. They'll just let things happen. Where here it's like people tell you how they feel always, which I like. A lot of people don't like that, but I like.
Me too.
When people are like, they tell you how they feel.
That's
if
like
they
an
don't,
East Coast thing, like a
right,
New
that's
York,
what I mean.
like a Northern East New York thing.
And people here like what? I was at dinner yesterday. Oh no, I went to the beach yesterday, and I wanted to sit on the lifeguard stand because I don't want to sit on the sand. I didn't have I was like out. It was after dinner, so I was like in my dinner clothes. I didn't have a towel, so we wanted to sit on the lifeguard stand, and there were people on the ramp, and we were walking up, and the person I was with was like, "Oh yeah, there are people on the ramp, so I guess we'll just go find somewhere else." And I was like, "No, we'll just ask them to move."
Right.
And she was like, "That's such an East Coast thing to do." She's like, "I would never ask them to move." And I just walked over, was like, "Excuse us, guys," and they just were like, "No problem."
Of course.
And I walked right by, but that's not really a thing there. And so I just maybe that's another reason why now living here, going back, the people annoy me because I'm like, no one's strong like in their
conviction.
Right.
So it's fun. First of all, I never realized how many fucking men have man buns in California. It's like enough already with it. Okay, we got it. The fucking stall. They wear the wool hat in the fucking summer. Like enough already. Mm-hmm. But so the movers, the guys that Adam, this thing keeps falling.
You keep hitting you keep hitting this.
No, it's not tight. 1 minute. That should work. Okay. So Adam and his brother, they were like, these, I guess, Spanish guys.
Yeah.
But they were really cool. They were regular.
They were like kind of cholo, but they were super nice dudes.
But they were great guys. Great
the movers that I hired to.
They were great movers, and shout out to them if they're listening. But the sort of thing is but they were like fucking guys. They were just regular fucking guys shooting the shit.
Well, there's definitely two parts to LA. There was like the real LA, and then there's like the white LA. Yeah, and those are different.
And I got to tell you, so Mom and I in like Laurel Hardware or whatever, we're sitting at the bar and.
But that's white LA.
Okay, right, and the
Hispanic people aren't going to Laurel Hardware, you know.
No, but what I'm trying to get is like, and I'm sitting there like the people are so full of shit. Like I would have noticed. Like last night we had Dan and Michelle, Kevin and Terry over sitting, eating outside, smoking a cigar, hanging out. It was so.
But there are a lot of people who are full of shit in Boca, and you just don't associate with them.
That's true.
I think there's more people who are it's a higher concentration of that in Los Angeles.
I agree.
Because everyone who's full of shit in all their towns and across America move to LA.
That's
so
true.
It's concentrated. But there are definitely people full of shit here.
Yeah, I guess I don't
life
tolerate
is you got to find the good people. Like I found great friends in LA.
Yeah, I like your friends.
But a few and far between. I lived in LA for 4 years and I have 5 good friends who I would.
That's okay.
Right. And I don't need more than that.
Right.
But that's like, it's hard to find even one good person in LA.
Last year we drove through Santa Barbara and it's beautiful and it's it's major expensive and it's like utopia. I mean, gorgeous. But other than that, I gotta tell you, I just don't see it. I think California's pretty, but obviously Northern California, but I just don't see it. Like I don't have a desire. I'm gonna go visit Burke. It'll be fun. We dropped off at his fraternity in college and having the time of his life. But I gotta tell you, Bronny, it's not I'm glad you're back. I think Miami's going to be a nice chapter for you and Bryce.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
I think so. It hasn't like hit me yet.
Because you're not in it yet.
Right. And I'm still focused on like my move literally just ended. So I'm still in the mindset of that, dealing with that. Be able to see. And I think now I'll definitely make more trips out there because I've realized this weekend that I like my friends and like I want to see them more.
You go out anytime you want.
Yeah. And it's easy. It's an easy thing to do.
By the way, you get extra leg room. So extra leg room. Why you
I don't care about. I don't need any.
No, if you fly the extra leg room, it's the easiest trip.
It's easy normally, anyways.
Nah, the coach thing doesn't. But we flew Mint on the way back. JetBlue. And I got to tell you, it was not good service for the way JetBlue is, and the seats, even though you had your own little pod, they were narrow. I don't know. It was.
I'm an easy airline.
Yeah,
passenger.
I know, but
I could. When I went to Australia, I sat in the middle in economy.
You're a fucking idiot. I would never.
For 16 hours. I
sat in
the
middle
in economy.
I can't.
Right, I can be like, okay, whatever. This is what it is for the day.
Okay.
I can sit here.
Anything over 5 hours, I have to go business. But LA, extra leg room, emergency row, easy trip.
Yeah. I also was like thinking this weekend too about my friends and about how, like there were some friends that I haven't seen in a year and a half, and like Thomas and
Love
Emmy.
them. Yeah, great people.
I haven't seen them literally in a year and a half or a year, and I saw them yesterday. It was like we didn't see each other in a week.
That's a true friendship,
and it was great. And then even when I said bye to them, it was like
it's not over.
I was saying bye to them, and it literally felt like, oh yeah, I'll see you guys next weekend, because I know next time I see them, it'll feel like that. Which was friends. Super nice.
Yep,
and it was reassuring that like, oh, I'll have them forever, which is great. 100%. But then there are some friends where,
but you've known them for 7 years. You were close.
There are some friends who I've known for 7 years who have been equally close, who I was in LA and they didn't even really, I didn't see them because they didn't really make an effort to see me. We're like Tom and Emmy made an effort.
Yeah, I love Tom and Emmy. They're good people. We had a good time at their wedding, didn't we?
Yeah,
great time.
But then I was just thinking about how, I guess that's also just
life.
Friends, like sometimes there are friends for a certain point of time in your life. Sometimes you're only friends with someone for half a year and that's okay. Sometimes you're friends with someone forever and that's okay. Sometimes, like I've had friends in my life where they've come into my life for just a moment. Like when I went to Australia, right? I went to Australia. I made great friends there. I loved them. They were great. We had a great time. And then 6 months later, we all left Australia and I never saw them again. I don't talk to them. Every once in a while, I'll see something on Instagram, but I don't talk to them, but that's okay. I'm okay with it. It's just weird how there's different friends.
Right. So there was
different types of friendship.
I'm going to say there was a thing I read on Facebook. It was written by some woman, and it talked about the 3 different types of friends. That you have friends forever, friends for that moment, whatever. Friends are just passing and fleeing, but each one serves a complete purpose.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
And I read that like literally 3 days ago, and Mom commented on so she must know the woman that wrote it. But it's so true that, you know, if you have a friend for that particular purpose, whether you're going through a good or bad time, whatever it might be, or like you said, traveling when in Amsterdam, in Australia, that you 100% it's almost for a reason or for a purpose, and you don't have to ask yourself why or dig deeper into it. Just is what it is, and it serves a purpose. Doesn't mean you're using that friendship. It's just that it just sort of ran its course, and it is what it is.
Yeah, it came into your life for a reason, and then it's out. Correct. But then another thing led to I'm getting emotional. I don't know why. Sorry.
Oh, really?
I don't know why. Sorry.
That's so nice. You all right, bud?
Yeah, I just feel bad about not LA.
All right, take your time. So good, Bronny. I love you, buddy. You all right?
Yeah.
All right, Brian's gonna go take a second. So it's interesting. So I feel bad. You okay, buddy? Yeah. All right. This is I'm proud of you to have that.
It's not nice. About LA. That I'm feeling sad. It's about
wow.
Something one of my friends brought up to me. I don't even know why
That's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. Sorry. All right. You don't have to apologize. Take your time. You go take your time. I'll talk.
All right. Talk for a second.
Yeah. No, it's all good. So tomorrow, you want to have something funny. So, you know, we're in, you know, we were gone for 2.5 weeks on our vacation, and, you know, the first like 3-4 days I'm working out hard, and, you know, with my kids and everything like that. And then we just ate like we were disgusting. So I get back yesterday. I took the red eye. Nell and I took the red eye on Friday night. We get back Saturday morning early, and Zerai, I guess, was wearing a shirt that was like a little bit tight on me, and little fucking Zerai, you know, everyone knows Zerai. She literally points to my belly and goes, she goes, "You have a baby in your belly." I'm like, oh my God. Like,
what a savage.
I'm like, why don't you fucking hit me when I'm down? Like, because I'm so uptight. I was so aggravated. I had 100% had to gain 8 pounds. I had to.
I gained a lot of weight. No, the last 3 weeks being in Hawaii disgusting. And LA was bad.
So then last night, fucking Kevin comes over. You know, Kevin's a good friend of mine, and Kevin and Terry come over, and I go, Kev, because Kevin and I work out a lot, and I'm like, fuck. I go, I gain weight. He goes, yeah, I see it in your face. I'm like,
that's so bad.
You dick. So now tomorrow is the 23rd.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
I have a shit day at work tomorrow. First day back in almost 3 weeks. And I just got to do it. I'm heading out back out to California, October 6th for Burke's parents' weekend, which will be a lot of fun. But I said I got to fucking shred about 15
pounds. Are you going to drink with Burke?
Oh, you're a funny guy. No, he's underage.
I was asking.
He's underage.
Are you going to drink when you're there? I don't mean drink, like have Burke drink. And
we mean party when I am
like go to the college and party. Yeah,
I will go to college, but I won't drink.
Okay.
But when I'm in Napa, we're going to Napa after that with Dan and Michelle. I will try some wines. I don't like wines and has a lot of sugars.
Yeah,
but I will try some of the good wines, like wine tasting. But you don't get drunk on that. But I have to literally 110% have to fucking lose weight. And tomorrow I'm starting. I just need to do it. Terrible when your fucking 3-year-old says to you, I fucking want to kick her ass. So now I'm sucking it in, because if anyone watching YouTube, I'm sucking it in the whole time. So
she's a savage.
So if you want to talk about it, why don't you tell me, which I think is a very nice thing. There's nothing wrong with it. I think it's very intimate, and you're going to make me say I probably want to hear about it, but I'd like to hear what triggered you to get you all
I don't know. And now I'm getting triggered again thinking about it.
And you're getting me triggered.
Maybe I'm not ready to talk about it.
All right, so let's go. We
can talk about it next episode.
Or we'll talk about it later.
Yeah,
later. Okay. So then another thing. So little Burke, we move him into his fraternity, Teak, and like, holy shit, where the fuck did I go wrong? This kid. First of all, every kid walks up. They all look like Burke. They're all good kids, but they look like little douches. They're all with their shirts off. They all got perfect little fucking bodies, and they have their hat on backwards. And it is. So Teak has these 2 houses like joined by this common area, beautiful room. They have their chef, the whole 9 yards. But Burke has a great room, 2 nice roommates. They're all nice kids, but they got a sand beach volleyball court in the back. They got
literally in their house. They have a beach volleyball court.
No, you can't imagine. It is They got bleachers for the parties. Literally, all I'm telling you right now, I have to come to terms with it. Although I have a hard time with it. It is the biggest waste of money. It is truly unbelievable. All these kids are doing is fucking partying nonstop. The drinking during the day. That's why I call them little douches. But I will tell you, I am so fucking glad I have boys, because the girls are, you see, even fat ones dress like they're 100 pounds. No,
there's no shame.
No shame
amongst kids, girls, which I don't know if that's good or bad.
No, I think it's bad.
I think it's both.
No, I'm sucking in my belly right now, and I'm okay.
But I think it's both.
But the fat girls are wearing. So I will tell you, he's having a time of his life.
I mean, you're paying a fortune for literally him to go.
It's a shame.
Party.
It's a shame. It's a shame. But Bronny, what do I do? He got a school he wanted to go to. It's a good school. He loves it. He works hard.
No, there's nothing wrong with it. It's a weird cultural phenomenon that we're the only country that does that in the world too.
Bryce will tell you.
We're like, you know what? In the prime of your life, when you're like the most youthful, in shape, figuring out your life, figuring out what you want to do, we're going to give you 4 years to do whatever the fuck you want.
And no headaches.
No responsibilities for most people. Obviously, a lot of people have to work to put themselves through college.
Which I respect.
But for a lot of people who go to college, it's like you have 4 years of no responsibilities, no real time. You spend 3 hours in class a day. And so it's just like, do whatever the fuck you want.
No, it's...
Part of that is great. Like, that's a great idea for a culture to do if it was free. The fact that it costs $500,000, it's $250,000.
It's $100,000 net a year. When you go back out, you need to go visit him at his fraternity house. It is you'll say, what did I do wrong?
Yeah, I want to go back for like a tailgate.
Yeah,
no. I will. Garrett was like, you have to come back for a tailgate.
So maybe we'll go together. Maybe we'll all do that.
Yeah.
So you graduated, you went to school, college, and you learned a lot. You always were cerebral. And
I never even went to parties. I loved going to my classes, and I took extra classes.
You loved it, and you learned, and you still talk about it, and you're very well read, and you graduated a year early. Bryce got a academic scholarship, and his cost a year half of what Burke's cost. Burke, of course, chooses to go to one of the most expensive schools. LA, it's a very expensive county to go to school in. But on the same token, he's a good kid. He worked hard. He did it on his own, getting in there and fucking let him have fun. So I have 5 payments left, 2.5 years left. When I tell you, I'm literally counting down the days. I cannot fucking wait. But it's
definitely a waste. But it is like, if you're in that position to do it, it's like I think it's probably a net positive for someone's life. To have 4 years to experience a lot of different things, a lot of different cultures, a lot of different people, make mistakes, learn, like that. I think that's a good thing.
But it's
instead of just like entering the workforce and not learning things, experiencing about the world. But that's why
it's one big party though.
Right. But that you learn about yourself, and you learn about, you make mistakes,
independence,
and you make mistakes. Like you hurt people, you make relationships, like those are important things to learn throughout your life.
But it's true, but it's a little scary that you hope that whatever mistakes they make aren't life altering.
Yes.
And that could be one. And I knock on wood and worry about that. And the other thing is wood. Yeah, this is wood, I'm sure. And then the other thing is, I'm telling you, Bron, I say it as a double standard. I am so glad I have boys, because you see the girls. And the girls are worse.
There is a double standard.
And I gotta tell you, so Burke has a nice girlfriend. He's had for almost a little under a year, probably.
A little under a year.
And she came with us on the trip, and I gotta give her a shout out. She's a great girl. You and Bryce liked her.
Yeah.
Her family.
Allie, if you're listening, you were great on the trip. We enjoyed your company.
Her family is very nice. She was able to handle us. And she fit right in. And I'm glad he has a girlfriend, because I look at all these girls, and they look like they're crazy, toxic nut jobs. And I'm happy he has. Burke is, I think, as long as he keeps his head about him and doesn't get stupid like some of these kids do get stupid, with the partying and so forth, he's doing what he should be doing, and things are fitting in nicely.
And he's not stupid at all.
I agree with that.
Like,
and he has nice roommates.
Even though Burke's
are nice roommates.
Like, Burke's an idiot, but he's not stupid. You know what I mean? Like, he's an idiot because he's young and immature, but he is sharp. Like, he's smart.
He is smart, and he'll make hopefully the right decision. And I like both his roommates and I like his girlfriend. So I'm happy. So far he's been making all the right choices. So, so I wish him the best. It's sad seeing him, go to school, but now I'm going to get a little emotional, but he's living the life of what he should be living.
All right. So when I was in LA,
are we talking about now what got you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
all right.
I don't even know. I didn't think I was going to get emotional because I wasn't at all until
by the way,
right now.
I'm giving you kudos. I love you because I think it's nice to see you get a little emotional.
I didn't even think it. Yeah.
That's okay. So, sometimes things happen.
So a good friend of mine who I was staying with in LA, sat me, like we went out to lunch, and
he's a good kid. I like this kid.
And he and also like we have the kind of relationship he could say whatever he wants to me, and like vice versa. He's that kind of guy. I'm that kind of guy. So
right, you both have very strong personalities,
right? And some friendships, like I know with a few of my friends who I'm very close with, I couldn't say whatever I wanted to them because it would hurt them in a certain way. They would misconstrue it. It just wouldn't be beneficial.
That's okay.
Right. That's just some people. But like with that, other people, I know I could say whatever I wanted to them and they would take it well and we could have that. Right. So when my friend was telling me that, and it just altered the way I'm thinking about this podcast actually, which is really interesting. So remember, I went to the Hamptons
July 4th
a month ago, 2 months ago. And then the episode, I went to the Hamptons with a big group of people. There were like 15 of us.
I remember. Yeah.
And I only knew a few of them. Only a few of them were my friends. The rest were just like friends of friends.
Share houses. Right. I get it. Yeah.
And then I came back here and we recorded an episode and I talked all about everything that we did that weekend and all those people. Right. Remember that?
Yes.
Like I shared all the drama that went on.
I don't think you share anything of great personal nature.
No, I don't think so either.
People got offended?
Well, wait. So I shared all the stories that happened that weekend. And half of the people that were in the stories weren't my friends. They were just people that were there. And then the other half were my friends. And it turns out that those people that I was talking about, I mean, maybe I shouldn't even be talking about them now, but whatever. I don't fucking care. They felt very, I don't know if offended is the right word. They felt like slighted because they were like, we were out for a weekend enjoying ourselves around you who like, we thought you were our friend and you were with us and we were all having a good time. And then you air all our dirty laundry to thousands of people that we had no idea, like that we didn't know you were going to do that. We might've behaved differently if we knew you were going to share.
Come on.
Wait, so they didn't say this to me. What happened was, one of my good friends, who's the one who
I know, I saw the other day.
No, the one who brought all those friends into the house.
Okay.
They were saying all that to her.
Okay.
They were like, if we knew that Bronson was going to be in the house and sharing all this stuff,
we would have gone.
Why would we have done that? That's not fair to us, which I do get. And then she got really upset because then my actions and me saying things about other people, which people that I don't even really necessarily care what they think about me, right? Because they're not my friends. It's okay. They're friendly. I'm friendly with them. I have nothing against them, but they're not my friends. Mm-hmm. So I don't really care what they think about me. But there are some people that I care. Friends of mine, I care what they think about me.
Of course.
And then so I just didn't realize, or my friend made me realize that, and I don't know if this is good or bad or whatever. I still don't know how I feel about it, but that like me even saying things on this podcast do have repercussions for people that I do care about, because like my friend whose friends were then mad at her and like felt that she put them in a bad position, that made her really uncomfortable. Cause then she was like, she had to do all this shit and damage control with her friends. And she didn't want to do that. I made her do that without meaning to. And I didn't, right? Cause like me saying all the stuff that happened that weekend then put her in a position where she had to like for weeks,
I understand,
deal with her friends, and her friends were like really pissed at her for it. And then it like ruined the whole Hamptons trip for her.
Can I ask you a question? Mm-hmm. So have you, your friend, this girl who you're friends with, did she talk to you personally about this, or she talked to the friend you met with yesterday for lunch?
She talked to the friend and he talked to me, and then I texted her yesterday that I was like, look, I know that you feel very hurt by the whole thing, and I would never want to do that to you. I care about you, so I would love to talk through it with you and figure out
what did she say?
She said that she was busy yesterday, but she was going to reach out, and she will. Like, she's cool like that. I'm not worried about that.
All right, so
but it was just weird for me to. I guess a lot of times on this podcast we're very
blunt,
right, and just open about everything. And I like that because oftentimes I just think about myself for it, but then to like put it in perspective and be like, oh, actually what I say can affect other people is it's just a weird thought to me.
Okay. So I want to break this down if we can. All right. Now, my first thing before I go into the other stuff is, what is it that triggered you, if you don't mind me asking, his wife, you got a little bit choked up and emotional?
I think it was probably a mixture of me knowing I hurt someone that I didn't want to, me leaving LA, me having a good weekend, like the nostalgia, all of that shit that probably just
triggered it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about, I remember having that conversation with you. I remember specifically what we talked about. And then I'm going to talk to you if I can give you my opinion on it, if you don't mind.
This episode is brought to you by Manscaped, one of our favorite brands.
Still love it,
one of our favorite products.
Still love it.
I brought mine out to LA with me. You know, so I used to have to carry a thing the old trimmer I had, which was not a Manscaped, it was about this big, and I used it for my face, and then I had my Manscaped for my balls, right? Now, I've been traveling the last 3 weeks. So I brought my Lawnmower 4.0, which is so compact. It fit in my little dog kit.
Yep.
And I traveled around and I was able to trim my beard with it. I trimmed my body. I got ready if I had a nice date with a lady. It's the best. My Lawnmower 4.0 compact. And the battery was so good. It comes on a wireless charging dock. I put it in the charger before I left, brought it with me, used it for 3 weeks in my bag. No problem. Didn't even have to bring the charger with me.
Well, you're a lot here than I am. So I manscaped and cleaned that shit up right before I left for Hawaii. We were gone for 2 weeks, and I tell you, I'm still smooth. It's awesome. It is, Bronny, I own the prior version, and I'm a little frugal when it comes to those things. It's night and day. It's like it's like having the Bentley from a Chevy. And it's so good. And I got to tell you, that fucking razor you do afterwards, it doesn't cut you. How do they do that technology?
The ultra smooth package, which is hard to come by at Manscaped because it's so popular, because it's honestly so worth it. So if you're interested in that, really shaving your balls down so they're really smooth, like a baby's butt.
But how does it not cut you? The fucking thing's amazing.
It's like magic technology.
It's a blade. You put in this like little razor thing, and I even do my chest with it, and it's so, no matter how hard you press, it's razor blades, but it doesn't cut you. It's amazing.
Yeah. So, I mean, Manscaped has just developed their great skin-safe technology.
Yeah.
It's great. So if you're interested in that, we actually got some for the whole family now. Bryce, Burke, they both have new Lawnmower 4.0s.
Yep.
So if you're interested in a Lawnmower 4.0, we highly recommend it. If you're interested in that, as well as a nose trimmer, which is they call the Weed Whacker, which is every guy needs that for their nose and ear hairs. Check out the Performance Package 4.0. That not only comes with the Weed Whacker, but it comes with the lawnmower as well. It comes with the Crop Preserver ball deodorant, the Crop Reviver, which helps your balls be on their A game in the sun's heat. That's a really good one. It also, Manscaped will throw in 2 free gifts to the Performance Package 4.0. They'll give you a pair of Manscaped boxers and the Shed travel bag. So it's a no-brainer. If you guys are interested in that, if you're a woman and there's a man in your life,
that's the best gift for a girlfriend or for a wife to buy their boyfriend or husband, or if you're gay, the boy buy the boyfriend. Because I'm telling you right now, it's such a practical gift that it's a great gift. I highly recommend it. And it benefits you too. I think the women or whatever like better when it's smoother. That's just my opinion.
So you can get 20% off and free shipping with the code DaddyIssues20 at manscaped.com. Once again, that's 20% off, free shipping. Use our code DaddyIssues20. Go to manscaped.com. Get all the shit you need so you can be prepared on your next date, with yourself. Who knows?
That's my line. First, a lot of what we spoke about was you being drunk, which was about you, okay, which is fine. And you have every right to share that. Those are your experiences. And the reality is what we talk about on this podcast is our life. We talk about a lot of things. things talked about me when we did the drinking game with whatever we do. We talk about things. We don't get into real personal things. We don't want to we
don't want to ruin anyone's personal life, right? Docs anyone,
right?
So and that's why I never say names.
Correct. Even our own family, we don't even talk about personal shit. Like I don't talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's say my sister, my brother, or my mom, whatever it might be. But we do talk about some personal things. We talk about intimate things, and this is
and I still am totally okay with that.
And this is
I like that,
right?
Actually.
And this is what we do, and it's made us closer, and it's what made our podcast successful, and it's made us. As you said in that article that just came out about our podcast, what separates us and why it's been growing and become so successful is the authenticity that people can relate to, and people love that in today's day and age where they think that's like a lost art. The second thing we talked about was the girls, the Indian girl, and
which she's not also, so that was a mistake.
Okay, but that's
something I learned.
That's okay, but it's not the end all. But my point is, I don't think, and I think I'm being objective here, not because I'm your father, that I'm trying to look at it through rose-colored glass. I think I'm being objective. I don't think there's anything that you really talked about that was of personal nature, that was anything that was supposed to be either confidential or taboo or anything that was so embarrassing, other than the fact that you talked about how you were drunk and you even posted a picture of yourself.
Right. And I don't think I did anything wrong either. It just made me like think about what we're doing, and it was interesting. And now I'm thinking like, and I'm not in a negative way at all, just thinking deeper about what we're doing here.
Okay.
And how much has changed. Like a year ago, we could say whatever we wanted and it would have no impact. And now what we say can like have an impact. And that's a weird thing. And so that was just something that like, I was on the plane today, just wrapping my mind around that. They're like, who am I now that my words can influence people who I don't even know? And then I'm like, that's crazy. Do I have to then watch what I say?
Well,
which I don't think I'm going to.
The answer is no.
Right. I agree.
I don't think it's so.
I'm not saying anything one way or the other. These are just thoughts that were going through my head.
So a couple of things. You have to remember too, Bronson, we've been right, wrong, or indifferent. We've been influencing people since we started getting Patreon members and we started doing the monthly Zoom and the DM, because we get such beautiful, we get some negative comments. That's just the way it is. We get some beautiful comments how we change people's lives. And even when we did the meetup in LA at the Den, we had a lot of people show up. So clearly we are influencing people.
Right. Now, but like, at what point is it worth, like if I'm influencing strangers in a positive way, but my friends in a negative way, is that good? Or I feel like I would want to flip. Right? Do I want to impact my friends more in a positive way and strangers negatively? Because right now it seems like because my friend also said to me, he was like, look, your whole podcast, you're all about like being yourself and genuine and saying what you feel, and you always say like you don't care what other people think, and I think that that's true about you. But maybe you should care about what people think sometimes, because he was like, they're like people that we've known since we were young, like people we've grown up with, and people like that are in Boca circles, because the girls that I was talking about on the Hampton Strip are Boca girls. So we probably know, like we know a lot of the same people. Mm-hmm. And he was like, they probably talk. And he's like, there have been people where I have to defend you to them because they're like, oh yeah, Bronson's such an asshole, where they don't even know you. But because of the podcast and because of these stories. And he's like, you just got to realize, like, do you want that? And then I was thinking about like, do I want that? Do I want to be known by like people who don't even know me? And this, I think also, it's just really interesting to me because this is something we're going through, because now we're like quote unquote public figures, right? And we weren't a year ago. And so we're figuring all this shit out. Like people, that's what people do have to go through. Like, do you, even though they're strangers or even acquaintances, if they don't like what, like if they think you're a dick, is that a good thing? Should I?
All right, so let's talk about that, because I'm obviously older and I have a very more different and cynical view. Now, I think that you should not be cynical or callous or whatever, and that's why I'm sort of glad to see you with that little bit of that trigger and get a little bit emotional. I never really, for the most part, gave a shit what people thought about me. I just cared what my friends and my close friends and my family thought. That's just
right. And
me.
so that's why, like, when it was the girls who I didn't warn my friends, I didn't care if they thought I was a dick. But then once I realized some of my friends are thinking I'm a dick, then I'm like, whoa, maybe I.
Couple of things though. So to me, like I already have my friends. I don't really, if I make new friends or not. I mean, life's limited. I just want to be with my wife and my kids and my close friends. But
I also don't have that.
No, just hear me out for a minute. So I think you're in a little bit different situation. However, the people that know you know what kind of person you are, okay? And you're a really worthwhile human being. And
that's why I do, sorry to interrupt, but that's why I do appreciate, and I said to my friend who was telling me all that stuff, I was like, I appreciate you telling me this because I know that you know that I'm a good person. Right. And he was like, yeah, of course, you're a good friend. So it was right. Just to agree with.
And I want to say this. So I want to say, and in reality, you know, so mom and I have been together. So September 19th will be our 29-year wedding anniversary, 31 years together. And like everybody in that relationship, we have good and bad times. You fight with your brother sometimes. A friendship, a true friendship is friends through good and bad times.
Yes.
So if someone,
I think a lot of people are not like that anymore.
Well, that's that. Then
I don't want. Then I don't want
good
them as
riddance.
Friends. Right. I agree.
So to me, the good friends is that when, like for example, your buddy that came to you and brought that to your attention, that's a good friend.
Right. Agreed.
Not someone that just didn't bring it to your attention because you don't need a friend in good times. You need a friend in the tough times.
Yeah.
So I think that you're not, this is what I always say about mom. If you don't like mom, it's usually you. If you don't like me, it could be me.
Right. And I don't know if I want that.
No. Let me finish what I'm saying. If you don't like, someone doesn't like you, Bronson, it's probably them.
But has that changed in the last 6 months? No. I think I've changed because of this show.
You've gotten a little more cynical and a little more, people think you're coming a little more over to the right side.
But not even that. I think because I've started to become a lot, like because of this show and learning. So we put this show, we speak for an hour, genuine every week, and then we put it out to the world, and thousands of people have responded positively to that. Like that has then formed a cycle in me to be like, right, exactly. To be like, oh, I can say whatever I want and people support it. And I can be truly myself to a fault, like say whatever I want. Sometimes stuff that I shouldn't share, like when I talk about my taint and shit, right? But people listen. So then it like reinforces me to be like, I can do whatever I want. So then I have noticed now as I live my life outside of the podcast, like my social life, right? I'm more blunt with people. I'm less, I'm, you know what it is? I notice myself not really, this is going to sound like psychopathic, but I notice myself not filtering what I'm about to say through a filter of how will this person take it. Where that's, I think, a normal social thing.
Well, I've always done that.
But I think that is a good thing to do. You should always say things thinking, how is this going to affect someone? And then still say it. But now I oftentimes will just say how I'm feeling without even thinking about. Right, and I don't know if that's a good thing.
But okay, so why not, if you're aware of it now,
right.
You decide how you want it. You could still say something, but maybe it's how you say
exactly. I think that's
and maybe give a caveat. But
we've talked about that on the show too. You've said that to me oftentimes.
Yeah, but
you said throughout my life that I've even I say things in a way that I could probably say them better.
Because you come off a little, it can turn somebody off a little bit,
right? And I don't want to do. Whenever I say things to people, I don't think I've ever actually in my entire life said something to someone with the intention of being like, I want to offend and hurt that person. I don't think I've ever.
Right, where I have.
Yeah.
I'm being honest, I have.
Right. And I never have. But I found myself that a lot of times I have offended or hurt someone throughout my life, and I don't mean to.
Okay, but Bronson, I hear you, and I'm not making excuses for it, but on the same token, there's nothing you said. If you go, I want you to listen.
I know, and I'm not saying,
listen.
That's why I'm not saying
just listen.
Did anything wrong.
I want you to go back. Hear me out. Later this week and listen to that July 4th episode. I am telling you, there is nothing you said. Now, people could say that about me. That guy Bloom's a dick. 100%, I say offensive things. There's no doubt. Some things I mean, some things I don't fucking mean because I don't have a filter and I speak off the cuff. And then mom will say, you shouldn't have said that. I'm like, oh my God, you're right. That's just always been my personality. You, on the other hand, there's nothing you said on that July 4th thing. So there is a part where, again, I hate to sound like, but people are fucking soft. If they got offended from that July 4th, you didn't say shit.
No, but
July 4th,
you're missing why it impacted me. It's not that people got offended. It's not that, because I really don't care if they did. If I cared if those people got offended, to be honest, and might sound like me being a dick, but I don't care that those people got offended. If I did, I wouldn't have said it in the first place. The thing that impacted me is that it wasn't that they got offended. It was that it negatively impacted someone who I didn't mean to negatively impact. Right? Like my friend who had to deal with all the damage control with her friends, I didn't include her in any of it.
But Bronson, I get it,
but then did I have to say any of it at all? Is what I'm thinking out loud.
We're in a different journey in our life. Just like when you closed doors in LA, when you moved out the other day. This podcast started because your grandpa died, and we figured let's do something so you have a memory so our children's children can listen to it.
Yeah.
And now it's grown to something. Not the only reason it's grown is by the necessities of our listeners wanting more. That's the only reason why it's grown. Okay. And the positive feedback we got from many people. Yes, we are going to unfortunately offend people from our podcast. We're not here to be dicks. We're not here to intentionally offend anybody. We're not here. But again, if you're worried about being offended, I hate to say it, don't listen.
And I'm not saying I don't want to offend people, and I'm not saying I don't want to.
No, we don't.
What I'm saying, I'm just saying, I'm just learning about. Like things have changed in my life a lot in the last year because of this and because of you guys listening. And so it's just interesting it's like a learning curve. It's a learning process. And I'm learning things that a lot of people don't have to go through, right? A lot of people don't have to go through even like with the bronchular, like that was something a lot of people don't go through. And that was a learning process for me. It was weird
and exhausting.
That was like a weird experience that I learned from that a lot of people don't go through.
Right.
So they're just, you know what I mean?
Bronson, and look, here's the thing. So your buddy who told you, kudos to him. I really appreciate that because that's a true friend. The girl who you didn't meet to, who had you feel bad what she went through, I don't know her. She should have contacted you, but sometimes people are the same personalities or strength. There's no judgment here. But it would have been nice if she contacted you so you can have a one-on-one and talk to her about it.
But we will. And I'm not like, she's a great girl, so I'm not worried about that. That'll be settled.
But Bronson, but in reality, there is, you're going to offend people. There's no way around it. 100% going to offend people. We're not here to intentionally offend anybody. I'm sure I've done it plenty times and continue will do it plenty times, unfortunately. But we are who we are. We're saying our thing. There is a shock value also in certain things we do with regards to our podcast. And it's very hard for someone to sit there and judge us because they're not in our shoes as to what's going on.
And I don't feel judged. And I don't really care.
No, I get it. I don't. If
I wasn't getting emotional about.
You don't need to say you don't care.
No, I wasn't getting emotional about.
You felt bad.
It didn't trigger me that people think I'm a dick. That's not the problem. It's just that, I think I've made it clear.
So you know the girl that you were hanging with this past weekend, how funny she recognized me when Mom and I were Jones on 5th or 3rd, whatever it's called. Okay. The day before you saw her, which is ironic, right? Mm-hmm. And Mom goes, and remember when we were in Hawaii, we saw that family looking at us? I said, it's weird. Like people recognize us from the podcast or Instagram or TikTok.
Yes.
And Mom's like, you got to be careful now. You got to always look good. You got to do whatever. Right. And I said, no.
Right.
I said, I'm living my life the way I want to live my life. And she goes, no, but now that people recognize, I go, no. And
I agree with you.
And because, Mom's all about, Mom puts on her lipstick when she goes out, no matter what, she always wants to look good. To me, like, if I want to go out and not look good, if I want to do whatever, this is who I am.
Right.
So I'm not.
But is it who I am? Like, or am I just? Well, am I learning? I think I'm still learning.
I am who I am at this point.
Yes, you certainly are.
You are growing, and you're 25 years old. You got to figure it out.
Just because I know from the maturity that I'm at now mentally, I know that I'm not the person who I fully am because 2 years ago, I was a completely different person than I am now. And a year before that, I was not completely different, but from
the girlfriend had a lot to have. The old girlfriend had a lot to have.
No, but from 18 to now, I've changed drastically every year.
Yes.
So I know that I'm still probably changing.
You're growing.
Right. I'm not.
Look at your brothers. Remember Burke as a junior in high school to now? Look at Bryce now working.
So that's why I'm saying like I know just because I know myself and I know from past experiences that I'm probably not the person that I'm going to be for the rest of my life right now 100%.
You're growing.
Right.
And that's normal. And every 25-year-old kid should be growing.
Yeah.
Right. And then you're going to meet somebody and you have a relationship with them, and one day you get married, and then you're a young couple married, then you have kids, and then you're raising those kids. Then when your kids get older, I don't think I'm the same person I was 10 years ago.
Yeah. But then, and I agree, but then that's what just was making me think like, okay, so I am 100% myself on the podcast, but myself as I am right now. What's the date? August 22nd, 2021. I'm being 100% me as of right now. Is that problematic that like, if that's turning people away from being my friend, and then 5 years down the road, if I slightly different and now I lost that friend because of things I said on here, even though at the time right now I'm like, I'm just being genuine myself. Like I have lost friends because of this podcast.
I don't think they were friends.
No,
Bronson,
and I agree.
What did we say before we even brought this up about the friendship thing?
No, I agree 100%. Like I don't want to be, I would hope that a friendship is deeper than that. But it was just hitting me. And maybe that was another reason why I was getting emotional. That like, I'm leaving LA. I'm leaving all those friends that I had there, coming to Miami where I don't have as many friends, which is okay. I don't need a lot of friends. But I knew in my head, I'm leaving my LA friends. And then when my friend was also like, yeah, you're like friends that you already, like friends of yours right now are being turned off from you because they think you're being a dick. So then I'm like, am I just isolating myself because of what I say on the podcast? And even if it's me being 100% genuine, is then that a good thing? If I'm isolating myself for the listeners, is that good or bad?
But I don't think, okay.
Or nothing. And I don't have any,
there's no answer.
I'm just throwing it out there. I was just ruminating on it. But I was just thinking.
But you're not isolating yourself for the listeners if you're being who you are.
I know, but then do I live my life just for this podcast?
No, you need to be able to balance both.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the equation.
Right now in my life, and that was another thing, like right now in my life, the majority of people that I'm socializing with is because of the podcast, not because of friendships separately from it.
What about all your friends from high school you've been hanging with?
Right, but that's not majority.
What do you mean?
Besides my family, no, but like think like most of the people who I've been like going on a date with is because of the podcast.
Yeah, but so wait. But let's stop. So if it wasn't that, it'd be all the social dating apps.
Yeah. So I'm not saying it's wrong.
No, but
it's just a
cool,
weird thing how a year ago my life was so different than it is now.
But don't you think, Bronson, if it was when you're out of college, okay, and you're working, especially work from home because of what happened with the pandemic, you'd be dating on social apps. Before the podcast started, weren't you on social dating?
Not really.
You are a little bit.
Yeah,
yes, you
a
are.
Little bit.
So is this any different than the social dating apps? Now it's just you have a platform of a podcast, so you have a reach of more people, and they reach out to you.
That's weird. But that's just weird.
Okay, but so you met a nice girl this weekend, didn't you? Mm-hmm. Through someone that was that was a listener
through the podcast.
Okay.
Yeah,
and you've had the greatest fun with her the past couple of days, did you not?
Right. No, so I'm not saying it's bad. It's just weird.
Okay, but that's your generation. The social platform, whether it's dating apps or podcasts or social media or Instagram, these are the platforms
that just might be my new life.
No, but that's not that's your generation.
No, but like I'm saying, like my new life might just be shaped by this podcast as long as this keeps going.
But as long as you can balance it,
and might not be a bad thing or might not be a good thing. It just might be how it is. Okay, and that's just interesting to me.
But with every positive is a negative. So like you met a great girl, you had a good time this weekend. So when you did Bron show was a fun thing. Some girls got offended because you didn't pick them, whatever it is. But now those 14, 16 girls are great friends.
Right.
So there's a positive and negative. My advice to you is one thing my mother, and you've heard me say this before, that my mother gave me good advice on now. She's whatever, but she would say, if someone is like you for you, fuck them, they're not your friend. So just be true to yourself. Be humble. Humility and compassion is a very good quality.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you don't have to stop being you, and you're not a dick, and you're going to have many positive things. You're going to have ups and downs. You're going to have hurts. You're going to have failures. You're going to have successes. And all those things are part of your journey to bring you to where you're going to be in life and end up. And if the podcast, however long it lasts, if it lasts indefinitely or lasts another month, whatever it is, those bring you to those things and help you grow as a person.
And I've learned a lot. Even if the podcast stopped after this episode, I've learned a lot from it.
Right. And look at our relationship, okay? And where it's brought us. And again,
it's been a huge positive.
The person you had this past weekend, you had a great time with, you had a beautiful conversation with your good friend that told you about the stuff. That brings you probably closer to him and you respect him even more out of it. And those are all positive things. And we are continually evolving and growing and learning. And there's, like I said, there's many things that I probably say that I would have to apologize for and this and that. And some things I stand firm on. But we are in a little bit of a different light, I guess. And our goal is to grow it more. And again, whatever it is, you're being true to yourself, so to speak, and who you are. That's the way it's got to be.
Yeah.
That's our whole basis of what we say. We say everyone has a right to be who they want to be. But if someone's offended, and I don't think what you did on July 4th weekend, I'd be happy to go back and listen to it again, was anything. I think that some people just are a little too sensitive, and I'm not going to change my way, nor should you.
But did I even need to, that's what I was thinking. I agree. I'm not going to change who I am for someone who isn't you guys or someone I love.
Is USC teak now because they said they're all like Berkeley, all like little douches? If they're offended, I'm saying that.
But I'm not going to change who I am for someone that I don't love. And even then, why would I change who I am?
But there's compromise.
No, I know. But what I was just thinking about is, do I need to share everything on this podcast? I like doing it, but now, and I really do like sharing everything with you guys, the listeners. But now I'm realizing sometimes that might negatively affect someone. And should I do that or should I not? I don't think there's a right answer. And I think it'll just be whatever. But
it's got to be organic. You're going to feel it.
They're just thoughts that
Ronnie, we're going to offend people.
Yeah.
We're not. It's a father and son just talking about the good, bad, and the ugly. That's what this is. We're going to offend people.
And that's what I view it as. I literally view this podcast, whenever we're sitting down, I don't say anything with the mindset for the listener. No, for the listeners.
Right.
I don't say anything differently because there's mics in front. I say it's just me and you sitting out in the backyard or
But this is what we do at dinner.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. And so for me, that the podcast has always been that. And it's just always been me and you talking. And if other people listen and if they get something out of it, great. If they get something out of it in a negative way, great, whatever. Right. But my friend was like, I don't know, dude, because I said that to him and he's like, that's not how it is anymore, though. Maybe when it started, that's how it is. But you are a public figure now. So he was like, you have a responsibility to your listeners. And I said to him, I was like, I don't agree. I was like, who gives me the responsibility? And he was like, no, just society does. And I was like, no, I'm only doing this for me. I'm not doing this for anyone else.
Let me explain something to you. There is not a week that doesn't go by that we have these same heated, fucked up, crazy conversations at our dinner table when company come over. How many times does mom kick me under the table? This is who we are.
Right.
This is literally our conversation. You guys laugh at me all the time. You guys even tell me, Dad, you can't say that.
Yeah.
There's no mic. The mic comes on 2 hours a fucking week. How many times do you always say to me, Dad, you can't say that? Or why would you do that? What happened, which when I say, what happened in fucking Cold Stone? You know what I'm saying?
We said that all on the Patreon episode.
Okay, right. But my point is this. So we are just literally being us. It's just now for 2 hours out of the fucking how many hours in a week, we have a microphone in front of us. So why would we change that? And that's why I think it's become successful. Because there's so many people out there that say, it's like, the people that know it say, oh my God, it's like, I'm literally like in a Bloom's household. Or the people say, oh my God, it's like, I'm eating with my parents.
And I don't want to change what we are.
Do not change.
A lot of people, like a lot of shows, or a lot of public figures,
sellouts,
as they develop and as they get more popular, they start to change, or they start to go what the sponsors want them to say. They start to go with a fan group, what they want, and they change what they were at the start. And I don't want to do that. I want this to always be like it's just me and you at the dinner table or on the couch talking.
For those of you who are listening, whether offended or not, the reality is we are 110%. This is exactly what goes on in the Bloom household all the fucking time. The debates among the three boys, with me, the making fun of me, my inappropriateness, not having a filter, you with your position, Bronson. This is exactly what goes on. I am telling you, the big joke in the household is whenever I go out with other couples, I always purposely want to sit at a glass top table so this way mom can't kick me under the table, right? Because all the time I'll come home like, oh my God, she's going to give it to me now saying, you shouldn't have said this, you shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
This is exactly what we do. And for 2 hours a week, this is what we're going to continue to do.
Right. And I don't want to change. I think I just will be a little more cognizant of how, not even on the podcast, but just in my life now, how what I say and the way I say it is going to land on the person I'm saying it to. Which you've been saying to me on the podcast for a while now.
Yeah, that's fine.
You've been saying your delivery on things can be a little better.
You're a little harsh.
Right. So
that's okay.
I didn't care about that, but I think now I'll be more aware of it at least, which I think is a good thing.
Bronson, there's nothing wrong with bettering yourself and growing and trying to be a little bit nicer in this world. There's nothing wrong. And you are a nice, good person. You don't have like...
No, I know.
You're not an intentional person in that regard. So it's a shame that... And I think sometimes girls are a little more dramatic than guys.
Yes.
Where a guy might be like, I don't give a fuck. Okay. And those girls might be, and here's another thing. For all we know, those girls that complain to your friend who's a girl, they could be doing that just to get to 2 seconds of fame to them to get attention. I'm like, really? You're offended? No, but you're offended?
Yeah.
What was it? There's nothing you said about that.
I don't think it was specific things. It was just the fact that like they were there.
And you talked about your fucking weekend?
And I talked about it.
Give me a fucking...
That's, I think, what it was.
Then he's almost say it's offensive. Get the fuck over it. Seriously, that's a joke.
Or now, from now on in my life, people might just have to realize if they're hanging out with me, it's fair game for me to talk about.
If someone's talking about something confident, you're not going to bring it up.
Right. And I never have.
Correct. We're not stupid.
And people have before said, I don't want to be brought up on the podcast.
And we won't.
And I never have.
Right.
Or I've like done something with someone like I'll go to an event with someone or I'll do something and they're like, can you not talk about this on the podcast? And I don't.
Fine.
Right. And
we have so much to talk about. And by the way, just so everyone knows, we don't have a topic. Like I don't even know.
Even Bryce. Remember, we did a whole thing on Bryce and his fraternity, like 10 minutes of a podcast. This, by the way, to the listeners, this was the only time we ever cut something out of the show. Ever. The only time
we did. He asked us
we were
not
talking
to,
about Bryce and things that happened at his fraternity, and he said, please do not talk about that.
And we said fine.
And so we cut it out of the show.
Right, we didn't care.
Right.
But there's... I lost my train of thought.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, that's okay. It's not a big deal. Oh, we don't... Like, I don't know anything about topics. We just talk. We literally, like, all right, we just finished dinner now, doing the podcast, we bring the chairs into the studio,
it's like
we just talk.
When you sit down for dinner, you don't have a topic list of, okay, what are we going to talk about at the dinner table?
This is what we do.
Yeah.
But people want to hear about it. So we're just talking about again, it's father and son discussions, call dad issues. We talk about life, our lives, the events, what's going on, the good and the bad. This is what we do, period. Okay? And we'll always remain authentic to ourselves, authentic to our listeners. We're sorry if some listeners are offended. We're sorry if some listeners don't like us. It's just the way it is. We are not there to please everybody, plain and simple. So if you got a fucking problem with it, I hate to say it, it's your fucking problem because we're not going to know, but I'm not trying to be a dick. This is who we are. We're not intentionally trying to offend anybody, but we are a strong-minded family. We've always been. That's one of the things we liked about Hallie. She can handle us. She fit in for the 10 days, no problem. If you have a quiet, meek personality, we are overbearing. You're going to get chewed up, spit out by us, and we're overwhelming for you. It won't work. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying this is good or bad. Those are the facts. If you are a quiet, meek person and we are overbearing family, and other than mom and probably Bryce, we're a very overbearing family.
Yeah.
We are, but that's okay.
Right.
Right? Again, our whole motto, live and let live. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But this was interesting. We didn't get to any single topics other than this. This was good.
Well, I mean, it was definitely something that's been on my mind the last couple of days, and just the move to LA the move from LA and being with my friends and all this stuff. So it was stuff I wanted to talk about.
Okay, so think about this. This is something you could have shared with me privately, me and mom, and you chose to share this on the thing.
Well, because I'm not even thinking about it as sharing it publicly.
No, but don't you say that says a lot about you as a person? So they're worried. This thing about these girls are worried about they're upset because you went away on a weekend and you didn't mention a single name or talk about anything of great confidence or anything of intimacy, intimate or personal, whatever, but they're upset. You here open up your heart out, question yourself, and you're your internal as a person, your growth, and then that you're sharing that out to the public. That says a lot about you. So these people that are weak and too sensitive, I'm sorry, they need to fucking grow a pair of balls and get a bigger taint. You should be proud of yourself. I'm proud that you shared it with me, and I thank you for opening up. But that might have
been the first time I ever cried on public. Actually, that might be the fifth time I've ever cried in my life.
Yeah, and that's true. And when you say fifth time, the first time was when you came out of mom's.
For real.
Right. So
when I was born, you could say.
Right.
Not when I came out of mom's vagina.
I was going to say womb, but I did
right. Come out of that too.
So I think that these people that are sensitive should think about that you're saying this to thousands and thousands of people. So we're good. I think we should wrap it up, right?
Yep.
Anything interesting you want to talk about? Any other topics?
No.
Anything fun in the news?
Yeah, but we'll save it for the Patreon episode that comes out on Wednesday. So patreon.com/daddyissuespod if you want to hear more content for the week, and every week you can get more content. So check that out.
And what about Instagram? They got to follow us on Instagram?
Yeah, follow us on Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube if you're watching now. Smash the subscribe button. The Instagram is @daddy_issues podcast. Follow us on Twitter @daddyissuespod. Yeah, and keep listening.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys soon. We're back in Florida. All is good.
It does feel good to be back. It really actually feels good to be back in this studio.
In the studio, yeah.
Like it feels like I felt like when we were doing the show, not in the studio, it wasn't the show.
It was still fun though.
No, it was still fun, and our episodes I think were still
Schlepping
good.
the shit across the country, right?
Yeah.
All right, Brian, love you, buddy.
Love you too.
Take us home. You're joking, right?
Well, I'm trying to be hopeful. I'm trying to be optimistic about that.
Well, I guess you're too young to be a little pessimistic like me. The fucking things I see out there, people are stupid.